Wow, wow, it's amazing. Shalom, how are you, Miss Sheila?
I'm doing well by the grace of God. Thank you for asking.
It's awesome. And how is work, home, and everything?
All is well, and we thank God for everything.
Wow, and how is the Financial Wellness Center progressing?
All at Financial Wellness Center, we are impacting more lives as we keep impacting one person at a time, one country at a time, one continent at a time. So I can say so far so good. We are still experiencing the hand of God as well as His grace upon the products and services that we are offering to the world.
Wow, it's amazing. I often follow up on your sharings. You guys are making a huge difference in the lives of the people. We are very excited to have you in this time of the living. Please keep on pressing and doing great works.
Thank you.
Yes. Allow me welcome you to Urim Shalom Trust, YouTube live streaming. You are honored. We treasure you so much, and thank you for sparing time to tune in with us, even as you shall be bringing tidings to the society, to the lives of the people. We trust so much that with the content that you bring, oftenly it touches lives. So, welcome to the platform.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and share on what you as Urim Shalom Trust do. And I believe what I'm going to share by the empowerment of the Holy Spirit, it's going to impact more lives and bring more people to light as they continue to do their charity giving towards Urim Shalom Trust.
Wow, it's amazing to have you. Well, before I hand over to you the baton stick, I would like to alert our audience on the just briefly on what you do, the amazing work that you're doing into the lives of the people. I have with me jotted down. I'll read through right away. Family, allow me to welcome you into this platform. Thank you for sparing time for this session with Ms. Sheila Mbonga, the founder and financial consultants of Financial Wellness Center. She is here with us. She's been a blessing from day one, and I'm very excited that she was the first person to subscribe to our Urim Shalom Trust YouTube channel. She is so much a blessing to us. Well, with me, I have a brief profile of her, of the amazing work that she's doing. She has been conducting sessions in various countries. So for now, allow me to briefly share tidings about her profile. Sheila Mbonga is a financial and a business consultant. She is the founder and she's the founder of Financial Wellness Center and Entrepreneurship Academy organizations that are focused on helping people to holistically learn business and money principles to achieve their financial goals as inspired by God. You can connect with Ms. Sheila Mbonga on YouTube with the link I shall mention right away, www.youtube.com/c/financial wellness center. So in a nutshell, that's about Ms. Sheila Mbonga, a blessing to the society, to nations, to continents. And I hope I mentioned well, Ms. Sheila.
Absolutely. You mentioned everything perfectly.
So thank you so much. So family, in no time we shall be giving the baton stick to Miss Shelambonga to share tidings with us. You know, learning will never end. So it's very important that we invest in learning and invest in sharing tidings to other people so as to grow in numbers and in joy. Last week on our Shalom Friday show, we talked about the roles of religious institutions on premarital counseling. I trust the Shalom session was a blessing to you, family, and you got to learn a lot, and you are healing as I talk now. So keep on exercising tidings that we bring you. So welcome to Shalom Friday show, where we share tidings about needy people, indigent people, and any topic that are in line with charitable organizations, non-profits, you name it. So today we have Ms. Sheila Mbonga, who shall therefore talk about how to budget for charities. So my name is Ivan Kositube, the Executive Director of Urim Shalom Trust, and we have Ms. Sheila Mbonga, a blessing to us, the founder and leader of Financial Awareness Center. Ms. Sheila, allow me hand over the baton stick on you. Thank you.
You're most welcome, Mr. Dube. It's really a pleasure for me to join you and your audience to share much on charity giving. And I must commend the work that you are doing to ensure that charity work continues, not just in your country, but globally. As well as I must say, you're doing a great job educating people on matters that affect us as a society, not just in terms of giving, but also in our day-to-day lives. Because for someone to be able to give, they need to be at a comfortable place, socially, emotionally, financially, and you name it. So if someone is undergoing through a very challenging season, maybe in their marital life, or maybe they are depressed, then they're not able to do charity work or charity giving. So I must commend the work you are doing, educating and sensitizing the world on various sensitive topics that at the end of the day they touch base on our charitable work. It's very, very important. So as you had mentioned, that I will be talking about how to budget for charity or charities or charity giving. I must say that as a person, whether you are a believer or an unbeliever, we have been at some point where we feel generous. Maybe you are walking along the streets, you saw a homeless person, or maybe you're just having your lunch somewhere, then somebody who maybe is homeless or is going through something, could not afford, and you decided to bless them, maybe buy them lunch or give that homeless person something, some money that you could be having in your pocket, or food. We have all at some point in our lives done such kind of a thing, which for me I consider it to be charity, because I understand when people hear the word charity, they think it's just giving a lot of money to a big organization. But I would want to emphasize that even when you help someone who is in need, for example, when COVID-19 pandemic came, it got a lot of people unawares or not prepared, and we saw some people would lack food, and we could see some people would organize themselves and pool resources together and buy food for such kind of people. That is charity. As well as sometimes in our family we have members who might be going through some challenges, and you can step in and maybe buy them, even if it's a meal for a day or a week, or even support them financially or even emotionally, being there for them, or just giving your time. That is charity. As well as we've seen people, some people, during their free time, when they are free, they go to institutions like hospitals, schools, to give their services and time. That as well is considered charity. So charity is a very broad topic or subject, and I'd just like to bring to our audience the knowledge that charity is any good thing that you do to help someone out there without expecting any payment or any return from them. You do it out of your kindness and generosity. So with that said, we've seen as much as charity or being charitable, it's very important. We've also seen a lot of people being affected by these charitable activities, especially financially. For example, in my line of work as a financial and business consultant, I've met people who they tell you like, I'm suffering financially because I just find myself giving everything until I have to borrow so that I can give to charity. That clearly tells you the person, yes, he or she might be doing the right action, but with the wrong, might be doing with the right intention, but how he or she is doing the action is in a wrong way that at the end of the day it's affecting him or her. So, for example, borrowing or taking a loan so that you can give to charity, um, the giving is very good and it's very like you have good intentions, but the fact that you will remain with a debt or a loan having to repay, maybe with interest, and then you'll end up being depressed or facing a lot of challenges to repay the debt, then it makes the whole concept of charity not a good thing for your financial life. And that leads me to our today's topic on how to budget for charity. As I said, charity is something we all have done once in our lifetime, and I always encourage people to be charitable. Don't just be so selfish that everything is for you and yourself. Be a giver. You need to share with other people what the Lord has blessed you with. That is part of being kingdom minded person. So budget for regular, when it comes to charity donations, it's important for you to have a budget for regular giving, and so that you can become more intentional and more consistent. Now, you see, if you have a budget for charity donations, you become intentional and consistent as compared to when you just do charity because today you woke up feeling good, or because you've got some more resources for disposal. that that it is a good thing you are doing, but it's not intentional. And as the word encourages us that if you see someone who is naked, you need to clothe him. If you see someone who is hungry, you need to feed them. So that means you have to be intentional when it comes to doing charity work, and that entails you including it in your budget. We don't want you to sleep hungry because you donated to a charity organization, or we don't want your kids to miss school because you used the school fees to give to a charitable donation. So how do you get to avoid all that? You do that by creating a budget. Now, I don't have, I wouldn't mention the specific amount you need to give to charity or donate, because that depends with you as a person, as well as we all have different financial capacities that God has granted us. So you might find for someone, maybe 5% of their income is what they can give to charity, and another person is maybe 50% of their income is what they can give to charity, and still their life will continue to be okay. So, but what cuts across all of us is the fact that we need to learn how to plan for donations and charity giving, because whether you're giving 5% or you're giving 50%, if you do not plan for it, then chances are high you're going to experience the consequences that come when we do not plan, especially our finances. So I would love to say that I'm gonna share how you can make regular charitable donations to be more intentional and consistent by including them in your financial plan. As I stated earlier, there are various ways of doing charitable donations. That is, you can give your time, you can give your knowledge, you can give your, all that. But for tonight's episode, I'll just share in terms of financial aspect of it, on how you can incorporate charity charitable giving into your financial plan, so that you can be able to enjoy giving, as well as keep enjoying your lifestyle. So I would say, like, if you are getting serious about your charitable donations and commitment to charitable giving, one of the easiest way is to make it a habit and incorporate donation to charity into your budget. I know there are some people who only do charity donations in December, or once in a year, or maybe during their birthday, or during certain times of the year. But it is okay and it is good. But I tend to think, if I'm going to support someone, giving them once in a year, how will they survive the rest of the months of the year? Because a year has 12 months. And when you come to think in such an perspective, then you find that it's very important for us to be consistent with our charitable giving, so that the person who is receiving on the other end will have a continuous flow of resources. We just don't give once in a blue moon. I've seen people who give maybe once in 5 years, once in 10 years, depending on their capacity. But I always say, if you are able, and I know all of us, we are able. You may not be able to do charitable giving financially, but you can do charitable giving in terms of your time, in terms of your knowledge. So in one way or another, you have something that can help you be generous or contribute to a charitable organization. So with that said, I will share around 6 tips on how you can budget for charity, so that you don't end up suffering because you are donating to a charitable organization like Urim Shalom Trust. So number one is include giving in your budget using the 50-30-20 rule. Now, we always have a budget. As a financial expert, I always advise people to ensure they have a budget every single month, or every 3 months, or every 6 months, whichever way works for you, but always ensure you have a budget. Now, once you have a budget, it's very important for your budget to have a section or a category for charity donations. So when you have it in your budget, then you'll find it's very easy for you to give, because you already have allocated a certain amount of money that you are going to give to charity. So for example, I said we always recommend you use the 50-30-20 rule, whereby 50% of your income will go to your needs, then 30% goes to your wants and charity, then 20% goes to saving and investing. Now, in this 30% is where we include if you want to go for vacation, if you want to take yourself out for dinner, as well as you need to include charity donations in that 30%. So if you do that, you'll find that it's very easy for you to contribute to any charitable organization every single month without having to feel the pain of, oh my God, I didn't mean to give. Because I once heard of a story whereby someone did charitable giving or donation. Then when the person got home, he realized that the money he gave out, because at that time he got so emotional by that situation and gave out, is the money he had intended to pay for his rent. So when he got home, he found the landlord on his door asking for money. And that is when the reality hit, that the money he donated to a charitable organization was the money he was supposed to pay for rent. But since at that time the situation he saw, he got so emotional about it and decided to give. When he got home, he didn't have a place to stay because the landlord needed his money. So it's very important. This person could have avoided such a scenario if he had um, allocated a certain amount of money in his budget to give to charity work. So it's very crucial, it's very important. As a person, as a believer, in your budget, you need to have a segment for charitable donation so that you don't strain your life so much, as well as you don't become so selfish that you don't give. So include it in your budget. As I said, the 50-30-20 rule works perfectly when it comes to doing charitable organization activities. So as I said, as I said, it's very important that we also learn um, um, that it's when you have already set or allocated a specific amount of money in your budget that you're going to donate to any that you're going to donate, the next thing you need to do is to look for charities that align with your values. So remember, once you put the amount or the allocation in your budget, maybe you've decided you'll be giving out a certain amount of money every month to charitable projects. So the next thing you need to do now, because it has become regular in your budget, it will be reflecting. Then the next thing you need to do is to look for charities that align with your values. Now, it's very, very important. Remember, giving is a lifestyle, and it's part of uh, um, it's part of being a kingdom-minded citizen. So you need to look at organization or charity organizations that align with your values. So you might need, maybe you're a person who has a heart for the homeless, then you can look for a charitable organization that takes care of people who are homeless. Or maybe you're someone who is very passionate about people getting education, then you need to look for an organization um, that helps people to go to school, a charitable organization. Or maybe you just have a heart for orphans, then you can look for an organization that aligns with your values. Now, this is where again the 50-30-20 rule can apply, whereby you can decide, because sometimes you'll find as humans we have various passions, or we have a heart for various courses of life. For example, maybe you have a heart for the orphans, you also have a heart for the old people, you also have a heart for the sick people, you also have a heart for people to get education. You find that these are a lot of areas that need you to give your donation. So what you do, you won't say that, okay, since I'm giving to a charitable organization that helps orphans, I'll not give to a charitable organization that helps people get education. You can do all of them using, again, the 50-30-20 rule. Now, this 50-30-20 rule in this case, it applies whereby 50%, remember in your initial budget, you already allocated some money for the charity work. So when you come down to the 50-30-20 rule, when choosing charitable organizations that align with your values, 50% of the amount you allocated for charity goes to the organization that you are most passionate about. Maybe you're passionate about people getting clean water in a certain country or city or continent, then that 50% goes to that organization. Then 30% goes to organizations that you have a loyalty or obligation to. For example, an alumni association or a religious group. Maybe your church, you have a group that supports certain projects, maybe orphans. Then it's not that you are not passionate, but it's not a high priority when it comes to your values. Then 20% goes to unplanned requests that might come up. As I started earlier, I said we have at once been or seen or experienced maybe a friend coming to you and telling you, hey, maybe I got an emergency, I need some money, can you help me? Or maybe your family member just got an emergency and they need your support financially. Or maybe you just met someone and you feel like the way you saw them, you feel like, okay, I need to at least help this person with some money. Then that is where the 20% goes to, because this is something you had not planned. Maybe you had not planned that your sister or your brother will call you and tell you like, hey, I just lost my transport. Can you support me? I need to get to point A. So 20% goes to unplanned unplanned requests that might come up from our loved ones or from the people we meet or encounter. Now, why am I insisting on the 50-30-20 rule? It's because this model makes it easy to budget for consistent donations while also having flexibility for last minute asks from your friends, neighbors, and all that. As well as when you do the 50-20-30 rule, you find that sometimes you can log in on Facebook and find a very emotional post of someone who needs help, and you feel in your spirit that you need to be part of this person's helping team. So you cannot say, okay, it's not in my budget, I'm not gonna do it. You can, if you apply the 50-30-20 rule, the 20% can go to such last minute requests that you didn't know. So as well as I said, it's decide to budget. Always have a budget, number one. Then number two, you have to look for the charitable organizations that support or align with your values, and that you can make your givings consistent. Very important. Then I would also say there's a point I wrote here: figuring out how to budget for charitable giving is just your strategic approach to that mission. As I said earlier, I've met people who they tell you, I get money, but I have a weakness. I give too much. Sometimes I give until I don't have anything left for myself. Well, in as much as the person is doing a very good action, he or she is not wise. And wisdom is the principal thing. You need to exercise wisdom even when it comes to charitable donations. And one way to exercise wisdom is by ensuring you include charitable giving in your budget. And the next one is aligning your finding out charitable organizations that align with your value, then apply the 50-30-20 rule. Then the third way is for you to be able to be charitable, especially financially, with this pandemic where a lot of people they have been strained in terms of finances. You can match your spending. What do I mean by match your spending? I mean you can donate to charity with a lot of if you have more flexibility in your income by choosing something you spend on and commit to matching it with a donation every time you buy it. Now, for example, if I love, let's say, buying coffee every morning, then what I can do, I can say every twice in a week when I buy coffee, the amount I'll spend in buying coffee, I will spend an equivalent amount to donate to a charitable organization. So if I'm going to spend, let's say, $10 today to buy coffee, I'm going to give to a charitable organization an equivalent of $10. So you might think that that amount is too small, but if you do that consistently, for example, if you do that consistently for 6 months, if you add up, that will be a lot of money you will have donated and you'll have helped someone's life. So that is one easy way you can do charitable giving without having to feel a lot of pressure. Another example is let's say when you buy takeaway food, you can say every time I buy takeaway food, whatever amount I'll spend on that takeaway, I'm going to donate an equivalent amount towards a charitable organization um, that supports your values. Now, by doing that, you feel extra connected to your chosen charity. Plus, it's a way for both you and your cause to benefit from your disposable income. So, as I said, it's very important for us to learn to be generous. Nobody was born generous, but we learn being generous by incorporating such kind of habits in our lifestyle. Giving is a lifestyle. So once you incorporate such kind of a habit, then you find that it's very easy for you to give without feeling any constraint financially. Then the fourth way is making spending swaps. Spending swap means exchanging something for something. So if your income is a little more unpredictable, especially right now with the pandemic, a lot of people, their incomes are not that stable. Or maybe you're an entrepreneur, and if you are in business, there are days that you make money and there are other days that you don't make money. So how does such a person contribute to charity? You can make spending swaps. What I mean by spending swaps is for example, you are walking in the streets and you think of buying ice cream, right? Maybe you're just taking a walk down the streets out there and you think of buying ice cream. So you can say, okay, instead of me buying ice cream right now, this money I'm going to give it to a charitable organization, or I'm going to support a charitable cause. So you have swapped, or you have forsaken buying that ice cream or fulfilling that want at that time so that you can give to charity. So you have exchanged, simply put. So Of course, there are a number of ways you can do that. Or another way is maybe you want to buy something. Let's say you are planning to buy a pair of shoes. Then you go and shop around, and maybe you are planning to buy, or your budget was you're going to spend, let's say, $50 on buying the pair of shoes. But when you go there or you shop around, you find a shop that is having a sale offer, and maybe they're offering the same shoes at $35. So what do? You say, since I had budgeted to buy my shoes for $50, and now I've found them for $35, then the difference, which is $15, I'm going to give them to charity. So you see, if you do that, you won't feel much financial constraint. Because one reason I found out when I did my research on why some people don't contribute to any charitable organization, most people told me, I have the heart for charity, I would want to donate, but I just don't have the resources, or maybe I'm just so tight financially. And when I started thinking about it, I that's when I came up with these methods. That, for example, if you're planning to even buying groceries, sometimes you go to the grocery store and you find there are offers. So what do? The difference that you get is you can give it to charity, and you will still have done something to the world. And I always say, it might seem small, but keep being consistent. God is seeing all that, and it's better to give that small amount than not to give at all. Remember, there's someone who is relying on your generosity for them to live. So it's very, very crucial for us to find out ways on how we can be able to support such great causes. Then the other way is you can sweep unused income each month. Now, this is an alternative strategy if you don't want to commit to a certain percentage. For example, as I said earlier, maybe you need to have a budget that the 50-30-20 rule, whereby 30% includes charitable giving. Now, what happens if you're not such kind of a person? Because I know we are not all meant to we base due to our differences in personalities, there are people who cannot budget or who cannot have a budget. So in such an instance, such a person, we recommend them to apply the sweep unused income each month. So maybe you are planning, this month I'm going to spend, let's say, $200. But at the end of the month, you find that you've only spent $100. So what do with the remaining $100? Instead of carrying it over to your next month, you can decide to give it to charity, and you will have supported a worthy cause and brought a positive reinforcement to your generosity. So unused income is whereby you find yourself, we've once found ourselves with disposable income. Sometimes you didn't expect certain amount of money uh, to come to you, but it just came, and you find that, okay, this money, I didn't expect it, and maybe I don't know what to do with it right now, or I don't know what I can do with it. Then in such an instance, we say give it to charity. Sometimes you've seen people who've for some reason, maybe you just did something and maybe someone decided to bless you, or maybe you just entered into a competition, maybe in your community, or these activities, and then you got money, so you can decide to donate that to charity because it is an unused income. Then the last way that can help you to budget for charity is looking for other ways to contribute. I understand the last couple of months, they've been really strenuous. We've seen a lot of people losing their jobs, or others having reduced income. Some businesses have had to, um, have had to close down, unfortunately, while others have had to, operate under minimal cost. So in such an instance, you realize you may not have the finances to give to charity, but you can give your time. Because, for example, if you were employed and unfortunately you lost your job, then your finances might be strained at the moment as you look for something to do or to keep you going. So you may not be able to give to any charitable organization financially, but you can give your time because maybe you have a lot of time on your disposal, or maybe you can give your knowledge, your wisdom, your gifting. Some of you are very good maybe with digital stuff. You can decide, okay, every week I'm going to support a charitable organization by giving them my services, or I can support a charitable organization by giving them my time, by encouraging the founders, by inspiring the members. There is always a way you can be generous. So with that said, I come to the end of my points or what I wanted to share. And I believe we can all be generous. It's only that we need to find out ways that we can make giving a lifestyle and um, not an issue or a problem. So with that said, Mr. Jube, I think I can hand over back the session.
Thank you so much, Miss Sheila. You just nailed it so well. Personally, I got to learn much things, new things indeed. May the Almighty, that whom we serve faithfully, may He expand your territory in Jesus' name.
Thank you so much and amen.
Yes, I was thinking during your session, kind of questions to ask. You just nailed it so precisely. I'm failing to think outside the box on the question to ask. You just nailed it so well. I'm humbled. Thank you so much for the knowledge that you have shared unto the lives of the people. I want to trust you have helped many so well. Thank you so much again.
You're most welcome, as well as to our audience. If you have any question regarding charity or how to do charity, just post in the comment section. I always say it's very important we give cheerfully, and you cannot give cheerfully if you don't plan for it. I've seen people who give, but at the back of their hearts, they feel sad. They're like, I'm giving this, but I don't, what will happen to me? So that is not giving cheerfully. And the way the word says, God loves a cheerful giver. And the same Bible says, wisdom is the principal thing. So you need to exercise wisdom so that you can be a cheerful giver. Don't be this person who, since you did not plan or you do not think how you can be a giver, you become sad, or you are these people who say, I cannot give, I don't have enough. Trust me, if you revisit the points that I've mentioned, you will find that you will have something to give. None of us doesn't have anything to give at all. I think Mr. Dube, you can agree with me on that.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. Yes. When you touched on the issue of wisdom, it's discouraging many times when people give out of emotions. Later on, they regret of their action. It's something else.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, I gave a story earlier of someone who became emotional and gave out the money he was supposed to pay for his rent. So when he got home, the landlord was there and there was no money to give. And that is when the reality hit the person that you gave what was not supposed to be given. In as much as the giving was something good, but there was no wisdom there. So it's important for us to learn to exercise wisdom, especially when it comes to giving.
Yeah, it really reveals to me that surely we have much work to teach people on what to do when it comes to charity movements. Miss Sheila,
Yes.
I think we're about to call it a moment. Before we call it a moment, I would like to give you this another moment to say a word of advice, which you would like our audience to grab and run with it.
Okay.
Talking much on charities. Yeah.
Sorry?
I mean, advising the audience on what you like to leave to them so that they afford to follow that in their time of living.
Okay, thank you so much. I would say make giving your lifestyle. Yes. And you can only make that through wisdom and applying the tips. And there are a lot others. It's only that you don't have time. But if you apply these tips that I mentioned, you'll find that you are consistent. Because consistency in giving is very, very important. Don't give today. The next time you give is after 10 years. What happens to the people who are depending on your support? So making giving a lifestyle as a believer is very, very important. It's very, very important. And not just a lifestyle, but make it a cheerful one. Don't be an emotional giver. That is not cheerful. So make giving a lifestyle and make it a cheerful one. That is what I can say.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Sheila. You are such a blessing, and we are very excited that this episode shall be stored here online live. Online. Even ages to come, the audience shall always visit and get to learn much tidings from you. I'm very much humbled, and on behalf of Urim Shalom Trust, we salute your information.
You're most welcome, and to our audience, you can follow us on Instagram at Financial Wellness Center. You can as well like our Facebook page, Financial Wellness Center, and check out our YouTube channel, Financial Wellness with Sheila Mboga, so that you can stay updated with financial tips that can help you become a cheerful giver and make it your lifestyle. With that said, you can as well visit our website, www.financialwellnesscenter.co.ke, and you can always send me a message and I'll be more than happy to revert back or answer any of your questions regarding finances or business.
Wonderful. Thank you so much to our audience. That was Miss Sheila Mbonga, a blessing to the society and lives of the people. Thank you so much as she unveiled on their social networks. Please don't hesitate to follow up. It's very important to get to know a new thing, to learn a new thing from other people. No one was born for nothing. Sheila Mbonga was born to advise us and to bring tidings into our time of living. So, family, thank you so much for your time. That was we are about to close the session of Shalom Friday on the 19th of March 2021 with Miss Sheila Mbonga, who just unveiled much tidings on the topic and tackled how to budget for charities. I hope and trust that you got to learn a new thing. Don't hesitate to exercise what you have learned. It will help you tomorrow. So thank you so much, Miss Sheila. We closing of this session as we go for the rest. So thank you so much for your time.
You're most welcome, and God bless you.
So thank you. God bless you too. Shalom.